Okay, so I hope everybody can hear me okay. If not, then try and let me know. Everybody can hear me clearly. So again, thank you for inviting me to your group. And it may be that one or two of the mastermind group may be listening to this at another time. In which case, I'll welcome you as well. Thank you for the kind introduction about energy healing, and everybody has their own experience. And the energies that I work with that are available to everybody, we can think of them as not being physical energies, but yet they're part of us. Now, in your mastermind, you embrace the very powerful aspects of self, such as the conscious mind and the subconscious, I'm sure, to some degree. And it may be that you've also heard of the superconsciousness. For our purposes today, or this evening, we can think of that as simply aspects of the mind. We also have body. We have a physical vessel that we need to explore the earth and to interact and to have our experiences. So that's a second aspect of ourselves. And you've probably heard in various scriptures, perhaps, or screeds, or ancient manuscripts from other parts of the world, of the concept of spirit, or energy, or high self. So we can think of the totality of the self as being body, mind, and spirit. You've probably heard those phrases. Body. Oh, just a sec. There was a chat just came through for me from Jackie. So let me just, I'm assuming everything is okay. Okay. So when we start to think of the totality of self as body, mind, and spirit, body, mind, and energy, then we start to have the opportunity of being in even greater harmony with the truth of who we are. And as an introduction to that concept, the truth of who we are, you could ask yourself the following question: who do you think you are? And the human self, the conscious self, the ego self within has got all kinds of beliefs and constructs and, yes, paradigms about what it believes that she is. And they're neither right nor wrong. They're just paradigms that have been accepted by another part of the self over time. And sometimes these paradigms, these belief systems, go way back. And sometimes it goes back to childhood. Sometimes it goes back to adolescence, or even early adulthood, or even recent times, if people have been through stressful and significant life changes. And we don't really know fully exactly how some of those experiences can affect us, because they're sequestered in the body physical, and they're retained by the subconscious. So if it's in the subconscious, we don't know what we're thinking about unless we do some deep subconscious work. It's thought that in a typical day, a person will have approximately 80,000 thoughts. And 80% of those occur at the subconscious level. So we could say that we don't know what we're thinking about because there's all kinds of things going on. However, the subconscious and our physical vessel, our body, is giving us feedback and clues all the time. And it's up to us to pay attention. The drawback is that this is our vessel, but unlike a car, it doesn't come with an owner's manual. It doesn't come with a set of instructions. We have to try and figure it out as we go along. And as things seem to be okay, then we just continue doing what we're doing. We get some feedback and we learn through various experiences. And then what happens at some point in our lives, in everybody's life, they receive either a series of powerful clues, we could say, or they receive a reminder of something that's far more important that the individual has been distracted from. And if the clue is a health issue, for example, or an emotional issue, or a relationship issue, then those things are coming up for resolution and for transformation. And that's the way that I work with people. And Kerry asked me, how do I do it? Well, I do it through intention. I have to come from a place of unconditional love for everyone I work with. They'd be staggered at the amount of love that I have, even for people I'm working with for the first time. And we have that opportunity. So the people on this call, Kelly and Kerry and Jackie, the love, the unconditional love that I have for you is immense. It's staggering. And I'm blessed to be in the flow of that energy of divine love, we could say, or infinite love, throughout my days. It's an absolute blessing. Everybody has this ability. Each of you on the call have your unique gifts, whatever they may be. I know some of you have got immense gifts. You're creative people. You're dynamic. You've got amazing personalities and wonderful senses of humor, and you have your gifts. And the gifts are to be acknowledged, not to be denigrated in any way, but they're coming up to be acknowledged. And as we do that, we begin to have a better view of ourselves, a more accurate view of ourselves. So when I ask the question, who do you think you are? What if I was to suggest to you that you are an infinite being of love and light? I know that Kelly has heard that from me many times, and Kerry and Jackie too, I'm sure. So think about this possibility. You are an infinite being of love and light. I don't mean romantic love, I mean infinite love. And you are here experiencing what it's like to be, we'll call it, in the three-dimensional realm, so that you can experience form, so that you can have a wonderful adventure. And you need a vessel in order to have the adventures. And there's another part of you, let's say, for our purposes, we can get into this in greater detail at another time. But what if there's yet another aspect of your being that you haven't even considered yet? And this aspect of your being, we'll call it your infinite self or your high self. And what if your high self that loves you absolutely, totally, and unconditionally and cherishes you, what if your high self has arranged for you to be here right now? It is arranged through various infinite possibilities for you to be having this experience upon the earth plane right at this precise point in time. And your high self, which does not make mistakes, has arranged for you to be here. Our conscious minds, of course, we could say mistakes. Our subconscious mind, and as human beings, we have that penchant for making errors and blunders and having misunderstandings about things. But the high self is a very different energy. And we actually all have the ability to tune in to this aspect of ourselves, a little bit like tuning into a radio station or a TV station. If you're familiar with your car radio or the TV at home, you might have 100 different channels available to you. If you turn the frequency to a specific station, then you can pick up the channel that you desire to connect with. And in the same way, each of you have had experiences in your life where you've had that eureka moment, the aha moment. Ah, that's it. There's the solution to my problem. There's the creative solution I was thinking of. There's the idea for my next book. This is the chapter that I need to chronicle right now. There may be many creations that you are seeking expression. And if you look back on your life, those solutions have come to you when you haven't even been thinking about it. They've come in the shower, perhaps. Often comes to people in the shower or the bathtub. That's how Archimedes, several thousand years ago, came up with the law of displacement. He was in the bathtub, and he got in, he filled the bathtub with warm water and got in. And of course, the bathtub overflowed. And he thought, what the heck's going on? And then he realized it was his body displaced the same volume of the water was displaced, equivalent to his own physical body. So we say eureka. Oh, that's eureka, which is the Greek word for I've got it. So we say this, we even now, oh, eureka. We have a eureka moment. You've all had those, I know, and I don't know all of you yet. But so these are principles that are available to everybody. And we do it through intention. Now, in this particular discussion, we're not talking about the mind as such. This is your mastermind group. Your mastermind group helps you to excel at navigating through the world of form with the conscious mind and utilizing all the gifts within your conscious mind, and then tying your collective genius together to come up with another mind than your own. You create this through your intention. It is a mind. It's a mind, and it performs very well upon the earth plane. There are, of course, yet more rungs on the ladder. You could think of our abilities and talents as being like rungs upon a ladder that might have 1,000 rungs on it. And people start off climbing up the ladder, and they think they get to a level, and they think, oh, gee, am I there yet? And as they keep going, as each of you keep going up the ladder, you will gain another perspective of understanding. And what if the invitation to you from your high self is for you to have this greater understanding about the truth of who you are, and to perceive your lifetime from a higher perch, from a rung that's high up on the ladder, up here perhaps. And you could think of these rungs on the ladder as being levels of consciousness. And this is the realm that I work with every day. And Jackie's familiar with this because we've run our retreats in Italy to touch upon this big topic. And it takes a great deal of time to absorb and to fully comprehend some of these topics. And yet it's certainly worth our while, because it's so important for our peace, our health, and our well-being. When you raise your frequency to a specific level, again, it's done through intention, then you can never be ill. It would be understandable on a call like this, where there's a number of people, just like in society right now, the past couple of years, people have become in the frequency of being afraid because of what they're exposed to every day by the media organizations and what they read and what other people discuss with them. So over time, what happens is that people come out of alignment, they come out of their center, and they get pushed off center a little bit, sometimes a lot. And as that becomes an ongoing condition or a chronic condition, then that's unhelpful for someone's well-being. So my role is to enable the individual to move past those misunderstandings. And it does not involve the conscious mind. That's the fascinating thing. If it did, then all people would have to do is read the book or listen to the audio, and all would be well. That would be the end of dis-ease. Just read the book and you've got it and you're on your way. Well, of course, we know it doesn't work that way. We're much more complex. However, as we start to hold, to begin with, the possibility, just the possibility that we may be more than who we think we are, then the invitation that we're extended by our high selves can be received. Oh, maybe there is more. Maybe I am an infinite being. Maybe I've had some misunderstanding about the truth that I am. Maybe it's time to upgrade or update my programming, just like people do on their computers. Every so often, they have to upgrade their programs. And it can be annoying. It can be a nuisance. But as we update our programs, then it means our computers can be much more efficient and much quicker. So there's a benefit. There's a benefit to taking the time to update our programs. And you can consider this as an opportunity that's being presented to you by Kelly and Jackie to update your CPU, your central processing unit. And even though some of the concepts may be unfamiliar, of course they're going to be unfamiliar. And when people embark upon this through their intention, and this is an invitation to you, the invitation is being extended to you to open to an even greater possibility of the truth of who you are. You are not just your physical vessel. You are not just your mind. You are much more. You are not your occupation. In our society, it's typical for people to partially define themselves by what they do. When people meet each other for the first time at the functions, business functions, parties, social events, people will say, oh, what do you do? They've missed the opportunity of asking the question of who they are. Who are you? I'd love to know more about you. Doesn't matter what you do, because you're a human being, not a human doing. And as we start to see ourselves in this other way, then life becomes even more aligned for us in a harmonious way. Synchronicities occur, coincidences come up, and people start to see that their life becomes almost magical. It becomes almost miraculous. Oh, I feel better now. I feel like I used to feel. I've got my power and energy back. The concerns I had seem to have been dissipated. I know that I may have been fearful at one time. I'm not afraid anymore. Wow. I feel filled with hope. Not just hope, but anticipation. Not just anticipation, but excitement. I feel energized. And that's how we move back into being in this place of centeredness, which I call homeostasis. That's how we're supposed to be. Some of you are moms, and some of you own wonderful pets that I've met. And when you look into your children's eyes, when you meet them for the first time, you know that they are miraculous beings. They're miraculous already. And it's staggering to see the miracle that you're holding in your arms. And that's something, those are feelings and experiences that you cherish all your days. There's a certainty within you that you know that that's miraculous. Little creatures. Jackie's got two wonderful feline companions, and they've got their own personalities, Miles and Davis, and they're miraculous little beings as well. And they are in the present moment. And in every recurring infinite moment, they're present, they're fully present. They're not worried about what's going to happen next week or tomorrow or what happened last week or yesterday. They're in the present. And as we learn the art, right now, for example, on this talk, on this get together, you have the opportunity of being in the present or being somewhere else. In a few minutes, I'll let you experience a guided meditation with me for a little bit, for you to have your experience, for your conscious mind. And then there may be some opportunity for short comments or sharing or questions after that. So when we allow ourselves the gift of being present and allowing ourselves the possibility that we're much more than we think we are, then we can move into this more exalted frequency, up this ladder that I described. You can go up a ladder. And at that point, when you get to a certain level, you cannot be unwell because your frequency has transcended all of those past experiences. And I'm speaking from my own experience. I keep my frequency. That's my job. I have to keep my frequency high. Otherwise, I couldn't help people. And there's various ways of doing that. I read a lot of stuff. I do a lot of meditation, inner exploration, understanding various esoteric things that most people couldn't be bothered to do, but I find it riveting and interesting. And I've had my over the years, I've had my experience in the corporate world and in as an entrepreneur as well, and in the cut and thrust of business, understanding everything about business, in the publishing business and communications and marketing and all that stuff. And I 30 years ago, I turned my back on that because I was listening to an inner invitation that I mentioned that came to me and was became very important to me. And even as a child, I had things that I noticed and paid attention to, and it became, I suppose, easier for me to embrace some of these esoteric things. So the benefit to each of you on the call today is that as you remember who you are, then all things become possible for you. And it takes the heat off, because some people think that in order to be more aligned with, we'll say, energy or infinite energy or spirit, they have to do something. They have to have incense sticks or nice music playing or bells, or, you know, they have to wear robes. No, you don't have to do any of that, because you are already this infinite being of love and light. And as a consequence, we'll come to that issue of health. Your health comes, therefore, from within you, comes from within you. It doesn't come from outside of the self. It's only in the last 180 years or so in the Western world we've come to look at health as being outside of ourselves, because of the model that we have in our society. That's all, because some things can be patented and some things cannot. So for hundreds of years, for thousands of years, thousands and thousands of years, human beings had an innate knowledge of some of these principles. And right now, in 2022, those of you who have not yet considered the miracle that you are, the magnificence that you are, you now have access to these principles, beginning right now. Begins with you. You get to choose. You get to heal yourself. It's very empowering. It's very empowering. The people I work with, I prefer to affirm with them that it's not me healing them. I'm helping them to access their higher energies through my high self, because I can do that. So your high self begins to bring to you your good. And it's a very natural, gentle process. There's no flash of lightning or clap of thunder. Although sometimes people feel releases going on. So what this means is that part of this invitation is that you're invited to change your relationship with yourself and the world. And as you do that, wonderful things, miraculous things become possible for you. One of the things that people forget, for example, is that you right now are a miraculous being. You are. When you go to sleep tonight, your lungs will breathe 20,000 times on their own. Who is breathing you when you're asleep? Your heart in the next 24 hours will beat 100,000 times. So who is beating your heart? The cells that you have in your body are staggeringly complex. It's thought that you have about 80 trillion cells in your body. How big a number is that? You can't comprehend that number. Each cell that you have has the equivalent, if you could unroll the DNA within each of your cells, it would be 6 feet long. That means that you have sufficient DNA within you to circle the entire planet Earth over 2 million times, circling the Earth 2 million times, the DNA in your body. That's incomprehensible. So when you start to consider the miracle that you are, you can begin to relax, knowing that your high self has orchestrated your life. You're an infinite being. That means you go on and on forever and ever. There's no end to you. We might leave our physical bodies. The earth itself might turn to dust. But you and your loved ones all continue on with all of your experiences and memories and the love and the light that you are. It continues on. So that means that you can relax and be fully present. Just like a child is fully present, and just like the little kitties that I mentioned earlier on, they're fully present. Everybody with a pet knows that their pets are fully present. One of the things that I'll share with you quickly now before we get into the meditation portion, which will only last a few minutes. Every year, every single year, thousands and thousands of people experience spontaneous healing. And physicians and oncologists don't know what to do with that. They close the file, they put it in the file, and they'll either say the patient declined treatment or the patient no longer requires any treatment because they're perfectly well. Thousands of people every year. It is not generally known, but this is stuff that I study and review. And if one can do it by accident, and that's what most people do, they stumble upon spontaneous healing by accident. It's like someone spontaneously writing out a play. Just spontaneously comes to them. There it is. They write it all out. Just come in some stream of consciousness. And if one can do it, then so can another. So it could be that somebody on this call, or someone might see this at some future point, and they might be looking for some form of healing for themselves, either physically or emotionally. It doesn't matter. Your high self assists. No matter what. So what I'll do is now is give you the opportunity of experiencing excuse me, a brief guided meditation that may be a little different from what you've experienced. Kelly and Kerry and Jackie have experienced this or something like it already. And it doesn't matter because it continues to be adding to the frequency of self. So what I'll do, I'll invite you, Beth and Sarah and Barbara and Kelly and Kerry and Jackie, to just gently close your eyes and we'll take a little journey together. There's nothing to strive for. There's nothing to figure out. I'll invite you to gently close your eyes. Notice that your limbs are comfortably arranged. Perhaps your hands are in your lap. And should anything require your full attention over the next 10 or 12 minutes, you'll be able to come back fully present. And be able to deal with any situation. So for now, I'll invite you to simply listen to the sound of my voice. Should you hear any sounds from outside of our space together, just bring your attention back. I invite you now to excuse me. I invite you to bring your awareness to your breathing. Just noticing the rise and fall of your chest and the expansion and contraction of your diaphragm. And just being aware of your breath. Just noticing that each breath is actually pleasurable for you. You're amazed at how easy it is to breathe. Your physical body is comfortably positioned. Your eyes are closed. There's nothing to figure out. And you notice that each time you breathe in, it feels as if you're becoming more relaxed. How might that be if that was the case? You might be breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. It could be that you're physical body is beginning to feel lighter. imagining what that might feel like. You're noticing now that your entire body is relaxed from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. Your conscious mind is noticing and observing your breathing. Just noticing the rhythm of your miraculous breath. And it could be that in your mind's eye now, you begin to be aware of a light. Perhaps it is a beautiful light that is making itself known to you. Perhaps it is pulsating. Perhaps there is an ebb and flow. You're aware, however, of this light. You can see the subtlety of this light. It may even be a very pleasing color to you. It almost feels as if this light is beginning to envelop you very naturally and very gently. It might even feel as if this light is like a bubble that surrounds you. And in truth, this light always surrounds you. For this light is part of you. It is part of your infinite self. You can almost perceive a lightness of your being. Imagining how that might feel, feeling lighter. You may even feel a quickening within you. This is all normal and natural. And you're aware now that your light is also flowing into your heart, right into the center of your chest. This is your heart center. And it feels as if your heart is actually expanding. It might even feel as if your heart is expanding beyond your physical body. And then you remember that the light that is flowing into, through, and around you is the infinite love that you are. The light, your light, is the love that you are. And it surrounds your being right now like a beautiful sphere, blessing you, protecting you, supporting you, cherishing you, nurturing you, loving you. And this energy, your energy, is ever with you. Even tonight when you go home and get into bed, you can bring forth this light and love to bless you simply by your intention. This means that all of the millions of cells that are being birthed in every second within you are filled with love and light instead of other frequencies. This is exceedingly helpful to you. As you spend just a few minutes each day with this intention, within a few days, within a few weeks, within a few months, your being is completely transformed. Your frequency is raised to an even higher vantage point, to an even higher rung on this metaphorical ladder. And your view, your gaze, is even more immense as a consequence. This is your light. This is your love. This is the truth of who you are already. And you know within your miraculous heart that all is well and all continues to be well. And just continuing to breathe, to enjoy these infinite moments of peace and ease and tranquility. Knowing that you are able to be in this place again at any time of your choosing. You get to choose. This is your energy. And in a few moments now, I shall count down from 3 to 1. And upon arriving at 1, you'll be able to bring your awareness back fully into the moment. And at that point, you'll be able to open your eyes. 3, feeling wonderfully relaxed and at ease, yet also feeling energies flowing through and around you, permeating your being. And very easily and gently too, coming back a little more, becoming aware of your limbs, your arms and legs. Feeling wonderful because you are indeed wonderful already. And in your own time, when you're ready, 1, allowing yourself to gently come back fully to this moment and opening your eyes in your own time. And as you're able to, reconnecting your camera image and being able to share your comments when you're ready, when the facilitator takes you off mute. And I know that 1 or 2 people may have to leave, so we can allow for that.